The natural landscape has shaped the history and culture of the area since humans first came to the region. The Abenaki and Pennacook lived in the region for thousands of years, enjoying the rich natural resources that were available to them. Some of these resources included fish, shellfish, waterfowl, trees, plants, and mammals that were found in abundance in and around Great Bay. These peoples were migratory and spent their summers collecting, growing, hunting, and preserving food for the longer winter months, which they spent inland. They created wigwams, which we have at the reserve, and used renewable resources such as bark and trees. Watercraft were created from felled trees through a few different processes and gave mobility to those living along Great Bay and its tributaries. The first European to write about the area was Martin Pring in 1603. Pring is believed to have sailed his ship up the Piscataqua River all the way into Great Bay looking for sassafras, which was considered to be a plant of great medicinal value. The early 1600s brought the arrival of European settlers to the Isle of Shoals, Odiorne Point, formerly called Pannaway, and Durham Point. These European settlers took advantage of the seemingly endless supply of resources that had sustained the Abenaki and Pennacook, and became reliant on these resources. The European colonists also used the bay to transport their resources from one area to another, and the tidally influenced bay was the perfect way to move goods without much human or animal effort. A simple, flat-bottomed boat called a Gundalow was developed to make use of the tides and carry heavy loads in shallow waters. Gundalows transported many types of freight. Saltmarsh hay, lumber, fish, clay, and textiles were just a few of the cargoes. Salt hay harvested from the shores was used as food and bedding for horses and cattle. The rich blue marine clay was harvested from along the estuary shores and was made into bricks that were used to build locally and all around New England, including some of the finest homes on Boston's Beacon Hill. In 1835, the Boston and Maine Railroad made its debut in New Hampshire and essentially took the place of the Gundalows. Speed and year-round operation made the rails the choice for shipping cargo. The exploitation of Great Bay's natural resources by European settlers and the descendants over 3 centuries was not without its cost. Most of the trees around the estuary had been cleared, and the blue clay deposits largely exhausted. By 1750, salmon were already in decline because of the sawdust mills and the construction of dams that closed off their spawning grounds. In 1790, the state passed a law prohibiting the throwing of ballast, rubbish, gravel, earth, stone, dirt, ashes, and filth into the Piscataqua River. By the 1900s, the estuary became the dirty backyard as towns began looking inward and away from the water. It quickly became a dumping ground for sewage and industrial waste. Many of these contaminants remain in the sediments of Great Bay and will take a long time or never be removed from Great Bay. One of the largest modern threats to Great Bay came in the fall of 1973 when Aristotle Onassis proposed to build the world's largest oil refinery on Durham Point. The citizens of Durham railed against the project, and it was eventually defeated in 1974. This close call set in motion efforts to protect Great Bay from future development and led to Great Bay being designated as a National Estuarine Research Reserve in 1989. Today, Great Bay is enjoyed for the recreation, education, and research opportunities it offers.